This is the planning board meeting for the town of East Fishkill for December 18th, 2025. Will everyone please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here's some info about Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you very much, and let me correct that. This is the meeting for December 16th, 2025. Before we get started, I want to let those of you who don't know, and many of us do, that a great friend and colleague, Lori G., passed away last week. She was a member of this planning board forever. I've been on the planning board for 11 years, and I know she was here at least 5, maybe 10 years before me. She was she was an excellent board member and a great person overall, and we offer our condolences to her family. And I'd like to ask everybody to please just join me for a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you for that. So we'll get started with the meeting. The upcoming meeting dates are January 20th, 2026 and February 17th, 2026. We have minutes from the meeting of November 20th. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll abstain. I wasn't here for that meeting.
Okay, and one abstention. Valley Christian Church has asked to adjourn their public hearing again to January 20th, 2026. So could I have a motion to further adjourn that public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tonight we have a public hearing for Ridges at Stormville Mountain Subdivision, and I'll accept a motion to open that public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Amy Patane, project planner with LRC. Here for Ridges at Stormville Mountain Road. We were last in front of you guys in October. Since we were last in front of you, we've submitted to the Department of Health, so we're waiting on comments for that. We have staked out the sightline distances, but we are working on coordinating with the town to have those verified. We're in receipt of the latest comment letter, so we noted that that's in there, so we'll work on coordinating that. And I just wanted to clarify, because also in that letter, there was a question of the limit of disturbance. So it was incorrect in the response letter, but correct in the environmental assessment form is 4.41 is the correct number. And the limit of, that's the limit of disturbance, and then the limit of work is 4.92 acres. If the board would like, I can do a brief overview of the project for the public.
I think that would be great, please.
Okay, sure. So the project is located at 20 Stormville Mountain Road, and it involves the main parcel, which is 41.19 acres. It also involves 15 Van Brook Drive and 24 Van Brook Drive. The proposed subdivision includes 10 new single-family lots, and it also includes modified existing lots for 15 and 24 Van Brook Drive. So the largest lot for the new lot is just over 5 acres. The smallest lot for the new, again, single-family residential lot is a little over 2 acres. And the modified lots will be increased to now be 4.38 acres and 14.87 acres. And that's the layout. I don't know if you want to open for public comment, or do you want me to continue?
Sure. So we'll start first with board members and our professionals. Do our board members have any questions or comments? If not, moving to the professionals.
Yeah, I think we still have concerns about the limited disturbance. I know I went out today, there were some stakes. The stakes I saw just said limit of disturbance. There were no center lines of the driveway.
Okay.
So it was really hard to determine really, what was going on out there.
Okay.
I know that there's stone walls, there's large trees, there's, there's going to be grading required, so I don't think we really have a good enough handle on that yet to say there won't be disturbance to establish the site distance.
Sure. Maybe it would be beneficial to set up a meeting.
Well, that's
with-
why I had asked if this driveways could be laid out with stakes, center line of driveway, lot 2, lot 3, and then from there you could, make an assessment.
Yeah, it was my understanding that they were staked out, but you said you went out today? Okay.
Yeah, just some stakes that say LOD, which is limited disturbance,
Okay.
not the center line of driveway. So I think that's an important issue. This ground it varies, a lot of steep areas. You've got the grading limits, as I said before, right tight to the house. I don't think it's really practical that when the bulldozers go out there, you're going to be able to be contained within those areas that you've defined on your plan. And then what happens then? If these lots get sold off, the sixth guy with a lot, he goes over 5 acres, where does that leave him? I think we need to just, face the fact you're going to go over to 5 acres and address it, on a lot-by-lot basis through some, mitigation on each lot, and then whoever buys the lot's responsible to do their fair share. But, the disturbance is shown on one plan, the site distance is shown on another plan. You've got an erosion plan that represents where the stockpiles and the washouts are going to be that are not consistent with the limits of disturbance. I think it's just too loosey-goosey right now. And, again, if we kick this can down the road, it's going to be a big problem later, I think.
So in your letter, you mentioned for limit of disturbance, we could mark it out with, construction fencing. You don't think that that's sufficient to do during construction to make sure we don't go beyond?
Well, when you say we, is one person, are you going to build all these lots that, should they take the fence down, they're on the hook, or might these lots be sold to different people?
Do you want to?
Would you come to the microphone? Thank you.
So I think that's a great question, and the same way that Farmview Estates, Farmview Estates on Route 82 was with one entity.
But you did stormwater on that, so this
Correct.
particular point wasn't
Correct.
an issue at
Yeah,
Farm.
and then once it becomes a filed
Could
map.
have sold those lots, it wouldn't
Correct.
matter.
Absolutely.
But here, you don't want to be the third, the fifth guy or the eighth guy, and
Understood.
all of a sudden you get shut down,
Yeah,
and we don't want to be in that situation.
sure, with bumping up against the 5 acres. So, okay.
John, can you just state your name for the record? too?
Sure.
And your
John
position?
Kuroda, Kuroda. Yep. And then,
you,
did you
John.
say something else, or?
And your position as far as,
I'm manager of the applicant entity, Roy Development LLC.
So I just think that needs to be worked through a little bit more.
Okay, understood.
Any other comments from our professionals?
Yeah,
Department?
I just want you to be aware as you build this, a couple things, that, for one, you're in a volunteer fire district, so there's no paid department that's on call or on duty all the time, that there's a response time involved. There is a hydrant system up on Devon Farms Road. It's not reliable in any way, so it can be deceiving that you see fire hydrants. There are no reliable fire hydrants near this, so water would be moved probably from down in the village of Stormville up to this in the event of a structure fire. So my suggestion, and we don't have a code for it, is that you would encourage people, if these are spec houses or whatever, to try to get people to put sprinkler systems in them, because it could be a while before they get a response there.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll open it up to the members of the public who might be here to speak for or against the project. If you do have anything you'd like to say, please come to the podium. You can sign in and go from there.
This isn't the one with the bridge. Yeah. This one, the Springbrook.
So I live on Gung Ho Road. I've lived there all my life. My husband and I have a house down there. I just want to ask, first of all, it's driveways, they're separate driveways, not one road to go in? Okay, so the traffic, it's dangerous, right? They come flying down that mountain. The second thing I'm concerned about is the water runoff and how that's going to affect the people that live in the valley. because like once you start, grading the property, I'm concerned that that might affect, flooding and those kinds of things. Okay, so I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about the actual road. Are you planning on widening it so that it's like more like of a 2-lane? Because you're adding more people, more cars, but the way to get in and out is not really conducive to a lot more people. How do I say this?
There are blind spots, and it's a narrow road, okay? because
So,
of a lot of curves.
Would you come to the microphone? And by the way, could you please state your name and make sure you sign into a sign-in
Yes,
sheet
my
that's
name
there?
is Claudia Mahan.
Thank you.
And I live on Gung Ho Road. And then I just want to bring this up. Living in Stormville my whole life, there's no amenities. Like we just said, there's no fire department, right?
Well, it's a fire department.
Well, there's a fire department, but it's really lacking. The town hasn't changed since I've been 5.
Exception to that.
Okay, there's really not. Yeah, it's volunteer, but they have a difficult time getting people. There are no amenities, like we're putting people on people and doing all these things, but there's nothing there. There's no stores, there's no amenities that you would have here in Hopewell. So that's another concern. You're just piling on, you're just adding on and adding on, but there's one road in, there's, a highway, but there's really like no, ins and outs. It's just not conducive to more people. That's my concern. If you could make it safe so that we can't even ride bikes down Stormville Mountain Road. You can't walk your dogs. There are no sidewalks. I mean, we're just adding and adding without any kind of real vision. If we could put a road in, maybe with a sidewalk where people could walk, or one road instead of all those driveways, but to me, it's just not, I'm for progress, believe me. But we have to be concerned about, how we go about it. That's my, main thing. And is it a done deal? Is it?
So, right now they're presenting before the board. The board hasn't approved anything for the project yet.
No, so,
Is there like a committee that looks into it, with all like what I just said? Like
basically,
the road has to be really widened, right?
so our charge is to take all of that into consideration,
Yeah.
including your comments, and we'll ask for a response to those comments should they want to make them tonight, but we'll certainly receive responses to those comments before it's approved.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yep. Would the gentleman like to speak?
Hi, Rich Sayo. I live at the top of the mountain, the very top, 229 Stormville Mountain Road. I also have a motorcycle, and I'm up and down that road. And they do fly, and there are a lot of blind spots, especially where you're going to be putting these driveways, because I see where the stakes are. The road is not wide enough, so you may have to do something with that. But there have been a lot of close calls. The bad weather, the trees come down, it's a very icy road. You guys should know that already, okay? People get stuck up there, and the electric is always out. Always. I have a generator that's always running. When I first moved up here, it was out for 7, 8 days at a time. Now we're down to 1 or 2 days or 10 hours, something like that, all right? And that's Central Hudson Gas and Electric. So I don't, you're bringing in more people, you're gonna have more homes with outages, more emergencies. I agree with Ms. Mahan and the fire department and the engineer. You may not have enough services to handle what's gonna go on with this project. And I agree with Ms. Mahan again, I'm not against progress, but maybe instead of 12 driveways going down one road, you gotta split it up, or maybe you shrink the size of the 12 lots. You do something where there isn't as much traffic. Each home could have 2 or 3 vehicles on that road. My house has 4 vehicles. I had 2 grown kids living. So if you want to go 4 times 12, that's 48 cars coming in and going out of those lots at a minimum. And people on motorcycles, and people coming from the other side, which, what road is that? Great Hollow. You get a lot of people that come from Great Hollow and the other side of Stormville, on the Putnam side, coming down that road. And the people that live in the development above that, which is Devon Farms. All right? So, you need to take all of that into consideration. Because I do go up and down that hill on my motorcycle, and you got to be careful. And I just bought a new one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other members of the public who'd like to speak?
My name is Mike Lawler. I live on 24 Van Brook Drive. I grew up on the farm at the bottom of the mountain, lived there since 1948. I'm certainly sensitive to what the people are saying. Also, I have no objections. My property from 24 Van Brook Drive is going to butt up against all that property. And I understand what they're saying about riding the bikes. I used to ride my bike. I don't anymore. But at the same time, I found that LRC and Roya, I've seen developers and potential real estate people for years come in there. I feel that they're good organizations, and they hear us. They've heard me and my neighbor Roy. So I don't have any objections. And as far as the fire department, 2 years ago I had a CO alarm in my house go off, and I know people in Stormville Fire Department, and they were great. There were 8 of them there immediately, and checked out the house, found out it was a faulty alarm. I have a lot of respect. I know the people in the highway department, growing up around here, the police department, the fire department. I'm proud to be a member of East Fishkill, but I just want to also say that I think the people that we're working with are the best that I've ever seen, and they've always been responsive to me and other neighbors. And speaking, Roy and I, my other neighbor, we have spoke to the other 4 neighbors in our development, and they all feel the same, and they have no objection to, the development going in, but they also all understand there are some issues that need to be considered.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Sandra Rosenbluth. I'm a resident of Devon Farms. And I apologize if I missed it, but was anything said about how long the construction was going to be? Like, how many months, years is this project? Is there going to be construction vehicles?
That's something we'll ask the applicant, perhaps, can
Okay.
give you an answer to that?
I think for the same concerns as some of the other people mentioned, that Stormville Mountain Road itself is very steep, narrow, lots of blind spots. So now I'm envisioning, construction vehicles there, and what's that going to do to try to get in and out of that street. And I'm talking to some of the other moms on Devon Farms. We were just wondering, a lot of them have young kids, so we were wondering from where we will be, like, how much noise are we talking about? Is that going to affect children? The ambient noise we hear when we're outside playing, that sort of thing. And then I guess the other question that someone asked me to ask was what this will do for taxes, for school taxes, that sort of thing, to have all these new residents. Do we have any sort of idea of what kind of benefit that might be? So those were the questions that I had.
I think you'll find it's an addition to the tax base,
Yes.
so that's favorable, but in terms of any specifics, I don't
We
think
wouldn't
there's a
know,
way to
like,
answer that
how
at this
big an
point.
impact or anything in
Right.
terms of, okay. All right, thank you, that was it.
Okay, thank you. Other members of the public?
Yes, I'm Roy Carruthers. Have lived at 15 Vanbrook Drive for the last 50 years, so I've kind of enjoyed having the undeveloped land behind me, but I understand that things do change, and I believe that this, what is proposed here is a reasonable thing to do with the land. I would be annexing about 2 or 3 acres behind my house, simply to give me more of a buffer. Other than that, as Mike said, we've been very happy with our interactions with Roya, and they've been very upfront with us about what's planned and what's going to happen with it.
Okay, thank you. Other members of the public care to speak?
Hi, good evening. My name is Mike Lozito. My wife, Wanda Lozito, and I have lived on Devon Farms for about 30 years now. So we're products of development also. But as we see, there's some concerns with Stormville Mountain Road being dangerous as you accumulate speed down the hill. I would certainly suggest speed bumps be placed somewhere over there. The road is narrow. There's going to be a lot of blind spots coming out of these roads, coming out of Stormville Mountain Road, both in and out. We also had concerns about construction litter and debris. That's always been a big problem. Whenever contractors come in, they don't clean up. They throw out their fast food debris on the Stormville Mountain Road. And my wife's been very active every year cleaning up Stormville Mountain Road. She goes to the town, she gets bags, she picks up all the garbage and waste is dumping constantly on Stormville Mountain Road, which is disgusting. And we work hard to keep that area clean, and there's no litter signs or deterrents for anyone. I've spoken with the town. They say, well, it doesn't always help, but it would make us feel good if there was some signs up there and some of these people who are coming up and down that road quit dumping sofas, tires, all kinds of debris all along Stormville Mountain Road. It's disgusting. The water, where's their water source going to be? Are they going to have individual wells, or are they going to tap into the aquifer that supplies us up in Devon Farms? That's always an issue. Our pump station is down in Squires Farm, and it gets pumped up to a station up on top of Stormville Mountain Road, and then it's gravity fed down to our development. And there's been a lot of problems with the pump house, and the pump burns out, so we're concerned about the water supply primarily. Are they going to affect our water supply, or are they going to have individual wells in these units? I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional members of the public care to speak? If not, I'd give you an opportunity as the representative of the applicant to respond to any of the things you just heard. I think you can particularly probably respond to the water supply.
Yes, I can definitely do that. So the water will be individual wells and also individual septics. So we're currently under review by the Department of Health, so we have to follow all of the county and state guidelines for them to get approvals and to get approvals for the subdivision. No problem.
Okay. And do you have a rough estimate of what you think the construction period might be?
Roughly 18 months.
Okay, for developing the lots, and then construction would be beyond that, or would the houses be built in that 18-month period?
They would be built in that 18-month period.
Okay, okay. Any other questions or comments by anybody? Well, I think what we'll do, because there are still some outstanding issues, most particularly limits of disturbance and site distances, we'll adjourn the public hearing tonight and push it to next month, if that's acceptable to you.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll accept a motion to adjourn the public hearing to our January 20th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, I couldn't read my writing. Next item on the agenda is Townsend Estates. But also had a couple of people close to the event.
And it's nice to hear that they responded to their inquiries effectively, you know, that they, shows that responsibility. Yeah. Nothing wrong with some communication and being responsible.
For the bridges, whether we need to apply.
So, tell you what, gentlemen, I think we'd like to get started with the next agenda item.
Lot size, I think it'd be okay, but we may want to.
So, Mr. Stokosa,
How are you guys?
very good, please proceed.
Am I the last application on the last planning board meeting of the year?
Yes.
That was the same way with the ZBA. It's great.
Get a prize for that.
Get a prize.
It's not like you're holding us up from lunch.
So I think, by the way, before I forget and before you even start, I'd like to accept a motion to declare intent to be lead agency on this.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, go ahead.
All right. This is a piece of property that is along Townsend Road. We did a subdivision a while back called the Knapp subdivision. This actually is next to the Knapp subdivision, and we're to the south of us is the Route 84 corridor. And what we'd like to do, this parcel is currently vacant, and I have an existing conditions here, but the intent is, working with the neighbor, we would like to move his lot line and give him some more area. He has a turnaround, he has an existing house, he's got a driveway and a little turnaround area, so we've incorporated that parcel into our site plan. We're actually going to give him some room, so he's got some breathing room alongside of our subdivision. As you can see with this plan here, this is our existing conditions. Here's that house that I talked about, and this line right here is the line that we're going to be partially extinguishing and moving it over and giving him some more area. The center of the parcel is a New York State DEC wetland. We had Mike Nowicki from Ecological Solutions go out and flag the wetland area. The JD came back positive from DEC, so we have the DEC coming out on the 22nd to verify the wetland line. So based upon the elevations out there, it's a gravelly area, so the wetlands are kind of consistent throughout based upon elevation. So DEC will be verifying that on the 22nd. We'll obviously forward the correspondence to the town and have that wetland validation block on there. The other shaded areas you see here are the areas of steep slopes. We just had to identify that as part of our environmentally sensitive land analysis. Just running through the numbers on how it shakes out. The lot, technically, through the lot count formula, can yield 14 lots. We're proposing 4 new lots. So what I'll show you here is an overview of that development plan. If I can get to it. So what we're doing is, this is just an overview here. I can zoom in on this, but here is that existing house that I was talking about. This is this new lot line that we're creating, giving him some of our property to expand his footprint. And then we have 2 houses off of Townsend Road. We have a rectangular lot here and then a flag lot toward the back. We made sure that we meet the flag lot requirements. for the areas. We have wells and septics proposed here. It's a gravelly area, so it's excellent soil for, supporting a septic system. Similar to the other application that was before you, we've had the Board of Health out there. We've gone ahead and done our soil testing, and we submitted design to the Health Department, which is under review. And we have another development section here. We border the old Somerset Crossing subdivision, so there's a cul-de-sac right here that has frontage into the parcel. So we're proposing 2 lots off of the Somerset Crossing road. And what I can do is I can zoom in here. So here is a little bit of a expanded view here of the development along Townsend Road. Here is that existing house. Here is this lot line that we're extending and giving him some more breathing room. Here's our proposed Lot 2, and our proposed Lot 1, again in a flag lot configuration. Due to the driveway length, being sensitive to emergency response, we showed a pull-off at the beginning of the driveway to allow vehicles to pass. Each development area, they're going to have a shared driveway entrance and then split off. So we'll have a shared maintenance agreement that goes along those 2 properties. And again, looking at the zoomed in, boy, they were loud, huh? Looking at this, let me zoom down on this here. Here is Somerset Road here. Here's the limits of the cul-de-sac. Here are some of the street trees that surround that cul-de-sac. And basically just coming in off the edge of the road, shared driveway comes in and then immediately splits off left and right to support lots 3 and 4. Here is our well and our septic area. So we've kind of gone through and we've done a pretty extensive development plan on this. We're above 1 acre, we're below 5 acres of disturbance, so we did a basic SWIP. We've submitted that to the town for review, and just kind of rolling through the process, but that's the general overview.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from board members?
Are you expecting much disturbance on the wetlands? I didn't see where that demarcation line was, no?
So with this project, the wetlands are more centered in the parcel and our development's on the outside. So what we typically do is along that buffer area, we'll install posts along to designate, don't go past this point, but they're usually, 4x4 posts. They're set every 25 feet, and it's a demarcation to say, hey, don't go any further. So that is part of the development plan. It's shown on the filed map, and the belt and suspenders with that is when the plot plan comes in and they submit a building plan, it'll be shown on that individual plot plan. And typically before you get CO, you got to make sure you meet requirements. So there's kind of a belt and suspenders check there to make sure that those posts actually go up before CO is given.
Other questions or comments? You mentioned that you're just doing 4 out of potential for 14 lots. Is there any plans for further subdivision? No.
This is it.
That's it. Any questions or comments from our professionals?
Yeah, I have a couple questions about just the I know you are still in the process of sort of figuring out the wetlands, but I'm a little confused about the line and where the adjacent area goes, because the adjacent area is marked to only about here, and that matters because in New York State DEC, adjacent area has to be calculated into the lot count formula. So I guess once you've clarified that, I know they're still working on it, once you get the line from DEC, make sure that the whole adjacent area line is in there. And also, I can't tell if where the wetland goes in this area. So does it go like off the site, or does it
Seems like
end?
some of it's shown flag and part of it's not flag, so that'll obviously have to get ironed out.
And they're coming on the 22nd to verify.
Did Newicki do the whole site or just the one portion of the site?
He did the development section where development was immediately around toward the front of Townsend Road. We didn't say we were going to develop there, so I think he stopped there.
But it still goes into your lot count.
Right, so what I did is, again, it's all gravel out there. So what I did is I projected that line based upon elevation. So I just carried that contour out, and I said it's going to be within a couple of feet, but I understand the lot count formula.
So you'll just
And you
revise it?
probably
when you
have
get-
cushion, but it still needs to be accurate, you know.
Yeah, 22nd, we should have that handled.
I think just, and also just make sure, I mean, when you'll go through the lot count formula, just make sure you include the floodplain and all the other pieces that need to be
And then you
included in
also
the
want to
driveway areas.
subtract out, don't think they subtracted out the portion that's being dedicated to that existing lot off your starting point. So it's a minor adjustment, but it should be made.
Yeah, I think we got enough cushion there.
The only other thing I'd just point out to the board, just so they're aware, the cul-de-sac on the end of Somerset, we pulled the original filed map, there was a provision, there's a 50-foot swath reserved for a future road extension, okay? So in this case, it's this parcel, they're not going to extend the road, but they do propose putting 2 driveways at the end of that cul-de-sac. At first glance, they don't have the frontage, because they only have 50 feet, but they do have frontage on Townsend Road, and that's how they're getting that second driveway. So it's a little unusual, but technically it meets the code. They have frontage on 2 streets.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Okay.
Yes.
Is this going to be tied into Somerset?
The 2 lots at the end of Somerset, the cul-de-sac, there'll be two new homes there. And the other 2 are going to be on Townsend Road.
Okay, and the 2 off Somerset will be addressed as Somerset, not Townsend?
Correct.
And given the proximity to the wetlands, the elevation of the building sites is such that even with rising water, flooded basements won't be an issue?
Right, so I believe when we carried the contour around, let's say we're at like elevation 288, all of our developments at 300, you know, so there's got to be at least 20-foot difference between those
Is
low
that standing water or running water there?
As you work your way into the piece, it's more of the standing water, groundwater, so when you know, when we get like the heavy rains, or we have a saturated condition, you know, around Townsend Road.
Right, yeah.
It comes right up to the pavement.
We don't need to worry about fast-moving water through there, though.
No, we're high and dry on both sides.
Also, Brian, you may not know, but is there any plan, either, probably not part of your project for the town, to extend the water main that comes down Townsend to Vanderbilt Corners?
There wasn't, we didn't, as part of this application, we didn't venture down that path just because the expense that it would take to take it from the cul-de-sac and bring it down to these 2 lots, I mean, we're talking a couple hundred feet, and we'd only be really servicing these 2 lots along Townsend. So when we submitted to our Board of Health, we said we were doing tests, we were going to do individual wells, and they said, well, you're not in the district, so, you know, therefore, you know, technically you don't have to extend that main. So, you know, if we had a bigger subdivision where our density was more confined in a closer area, it would make sense to do that, but for this application, and it didn't really make sense, and we're not in the district.
One of the reasons I'm asking, because we've got another potential subdivision at, what, 95 Townsend Road?
Just down the way, I think.
6 houses, so-
Springbrook. Yeah. I don't know where that application is in the process with the board, but I know it's been hanging around.
All of a sudden, we put in a lot of little ones, and we got a big one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, this is going to be under Health Department review.
Right.
So hopefully there's a coordination there, but I just think due to the location and the district boundaries, I'll leave it up to them.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? So are we at a point where we can schedule a public hearing? Everything?
Has there been a review memo by our engineers first?
Yes.
We have a remember
Yes.
up today, yeah. As long as I guess so. I mean, I feel like, I always like to have the understanding of where the wetlands are located and the adjacent area and have that all understood. But, I mean, it's up to the board whether or not they feel comfortable with the representation of the applicant that they've got the wetlands where they are.
Where we flag the wetlands, it's, Mike hit the development areas. So if you're looking at the map, I'll show you what we're talking about.
Brian, while you look at that, can you say with certainty that you included the buffer in your computation?
I'm fairly confident I did. If not, you know, We are at 14, even if it's cut in half. We're at 7, we're only proposing 4. Fairly confident that we still have the 4. So here's the back of that lot that we are realigning, right? So the wetland flags start here, they go in and south, and they kind of wrap around all the way over to here. This is where Mike stopped. And you can see it actually follows the contours. It's because it's, in this area here, it's standing water and it's gravel. So what we did is, we extended we extended the wetland line right along that contour on both sides, and we took that into consideration. I mean, if the worst case is we'd have to re-advertise for 3 lots if there was some kind of reduction in lot count formula, and I'm willing to take the risk on that because I'm confident that, if we make an adjustment to the area and based upon how these wetlands were flagged by Nowicki and just knowing the conditions, I don't think there's going to be much movement. Maybe will we lose a lot or 2 on the lot count formula? Maybe, but I don't think it's to the point where we're not going to be able to create 4, if that makes sense.
And Brian, I just have a question too, because I was looking at the cul-de-sac with Somerset Road, and it looks like there's a little gap which might consist of trees between Somerset Road and your client's property. Do you know who owns that little area?
Which part? This right in here?
Yes.
That's a town. There's a 50-foot, so there's the cul-de-sac's got with the 65-foot radius, and then there's basically a center line was run into this parcel when they created the Somerset Road, and they did 25 each side. So the cul-de-sac comes around, and then there's a point that comes in. So there's it's like 50.23 feet is what it comes into our property. And like Scott said, that lot 3 gains frontage off of Townsend.
Okay. Any further concerns on that, Michelle?
Yeah.
Are we good to move
I
forward?
think it's up to you guys if you want to wait for that information or if you feel comfortable with what Brian's explained to you.
I'll tell you what, I'll accept a motion to schedule a public hearing, and if there are any nay votes, please feel free. But I'll accept a motion to schedule a public hearing for this applicant for our January 20th, 2026 meeting.
So moved. Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we'll see you at the next meeting for a public hearing.
Thank you, guys.
Brian, you can get the circulation done pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. We'll drop it off to you guys.
Ideally, we'd have it done so we could have the 30 days on the 26th or 20th. Well, actually, we're not going to be able to make, well, we could if you do it quickly.
Well, you get it to you guys this week, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be the 22nd.
20th, I think, is right? The 22nd when they're doing the delineation, but the 20th is the next meeting.
Right.
So,
We need it in by the end of the month.
yeah.
Right, Jackie?
But I want him to circulate for seeker. We have to do seeker.
Yeah, that's no problem.
And he's got to circulate.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too. We have one more piece of business, by the way, before we leave. We have an adoption of the 2026 meeting schedule. The meeting dates are January 20th, February 17th, March 17th, April 21st, May 19th, June 16th, July 21st, August 18th, September 15th, October 20th, November 17th, and December 15th. All of those are the third Tuesday of each one of those months, which gets us effectively back to our regular schedule. So I'll accept a motion to approve those dates.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and if there's no further business to be brought before the board, I will wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
And accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Merry Christmas.